If you are planning on traveling to Israel, I can guarantee that this is going to be one of the most useful videos you will see. These apps will really improve your trip. Let's dive straight in. The first app that will pop into Israelis' head is probably Waze, but I want to start with WhatsApp. This is by far the most popular app that Israelis use to communicate with others. The only reason that Israelis wouldn't consider recommending WhatsApp is that they will assume that you have it already. Even if you prefer Telegram or Signal, do yourself a favor and download WhatsApp for your trip to Israel. Now, almost all of the next apps will be about transportation, navigating your way, parking, and public transportation. Transportation is often overlooked by travelers before they come, and it is only once they are here that they understand how important it is. Not only should you be thinking about where you want to go, but also how you plan on getting there, what options you have, and how much those options cost. Waze is a navigation app used by Israelis. It was developed in Israel and bought by Google for $900 million. It is a source of national pride. To tell you the truth, I tend to use Google Maps because it has a cleaner interface. I'm also mentioning it here because it has a very useful feature that Waze doesn't have. Waze will tell you how to drive from your location to your chosen destination. But if you are in Jerusalem and you want to know how long of a drive is it from Tel Aviv to Haifa, then with Google Maps it is much more intuitive. The reason that Waze is worth having is that very often you don't look for an address, but for the name of a place, like a name of a restaurant or a bed and breakfast, and that is something that Waze does much better. Most cars that you rent will have a USB port, so if you are planning on using Waze or Google Maps when driving, and you pretty much have to, make sure you have a USB cable to charge your phone. If you don't plan on renting a car, you can download Waze Carpool, which is a separate app for carpooling. You ride together and share the cost. Number 4, moovit. Understanding the public transportation system or systems, trains, buses, trams, in a new country where you don't understand the language can be frustrating. moovit makes it so much easier. First, you can easily plan your trip. The trains, the buses, the light rail are all there, and you can see it all in real time. So you can find out, for example, how long is it going to take for the bus to arrive. And the app has just got even better, because not only can you pay for your ride with the app, but you can also pay at the end of the month and get the cheapest possible prices. Here is an example. Let's say you visit Tel Aviv for 3 weeks for work and you need to use the bus. On some days you use the bus twice a day, on some days you don't use it at all, and on other days you use it 4 times a day. At the beginning of your day or at the beginning of the week, you may not know how many rides on the bus you're going to take. With moovit, you just scan the code on the bus at the start of each ride and then choose your destination in the app. At the end of each month, you are charged the lowest amount possible. So if you have used public transportation a lot, you will be charged for a monthly pass. If you have only used it on some days, you will be charged for day passes. It is really genius idea. There are a few things to know. You need to scan the code on every ride and choose your destination. And the payment is made through a third app called Pango, which is an app I will be talking about shortly. You will need to enter your credit card details in advance. There are other apps that basically do the same sort of thing. I like Hop on RavPass. I think it's more intuitive. In every category, I will try to give you more than one option. So if you have trouble registering in one app, you have another option to try. Israelis are used to often needing to enter their ID or passport number, which consists only of numbers. If your passport number has letters in it, or you just don't want to enter it, you can sometimes enter 9 times 0 or 9 times 1 instead. do yourself a favor and register on these apps before you come, and don't try to do it in a panic 1 minute before your bus arrives. Number 5 is or are Pango and Park. First, I will say what I always say. If you want to enjoy your trip to Israel, do yourself a favor and don't do too much driving in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Rent a car only once you are leaving these cities to head to the Negev and to the Galilee. Anyway, when parking, it is best to ask someone if you need to pay for parking. If the pavement is marked with blue and white, you usually need to pay. The best way to pay is with these two apps, because then you only pay for the time you actually park your car there. And if you allow the app to know your location, which I recommend that you do, then the app will usually tell you if you are parking in a place where you need to pay. You can also pay with these apps in different parking lots. Moovit uses Pango to manage the public transportation payment. If you plan on taking taxis, I highly recommend using an app. That way you run a smaller risk of getting ripped off. In Israel, we don't use Uber, but we do have Gett and Yango. The next one is Google Translate. In Israel, we speak Hebrew and Arabic, and Israelis do now tend to speak quite good basic English, as most of the TV series and movies are in English. I have an unproven theory that in small countries like Israel, Holland, and the Czech Republic, people can speak better English than in the big countries like Spain, France, the UK, and Germany. Anyway, it is fine to point the camera at text in Hebrew and instantly have it translated. We live in the future. We live in the future. Number 8. In Tel Aviv, there are electric scooters. I guess you know them from other cities. The common ones are Bird, Lime, Wind, and there are two or three apps. There is another app that I've been wondering whether to recommend or not. It is called Israel Hiking Map. It shows you a topographic map with all the roads, dirt roads, and hiking trails. There's a similar one called Amud Anan. I want you to go hiking, and these are good apps, but my biggest fear is that someone will watch my hiking videos and recommendation, download a topographic map app, and just go out hiking, potentially on a day that is too hot with insufficient water and no real knowledge on how to travel in the desert. You need to know what you are doing. Never walk alone, and always consult Israelis who are in the know. Before I get to the last one, I will just mention two apps that Israelis use but aren't really relevant to you, Bit and Paybox. These are popular money transfer apps, but you need an Israeli bank account, which 99% of you won't have. I'm just pointing them out so that if you do hear them mentioned, you will know that they are legit. You can use Apple Pay and Google Pay. All the apps I've mentioned up until now are free. The last one will cost you a little money initially, but end up saving you much more money in the long run. It is my own app, Jerusalem with Oren. I have a few things to say. First of all, I'm sorry that it is taking me so long to finish uploading my tours. In the last 6 months, I've been able to spend I don't know how many weeks sitting down and working because of Corona, or rather Corona implications. But I will just say that the app has just got much better. I have added the Rampart store, added some recommendations, and I have added 10% discount coupons for all of the Abraham hostels in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Nazareth, and Eilat, as well as 10% discount coupons for all the Abraham tours. So even if you are only booking a room for 3 nights in Jerusalem, 3 nights in Tel Aviv, and booking a tour to Masada or Petra in Jordan, you will be saving yourself about $150, as well as getting access to my tours and recommendations. In the menu of the lower part of the screen, click the discount codes button, and there you will find all the discount codes and relevant links. I'm going to keep on improving my app over the next few weeks, and once I've finished it, I will be raising the price. So if you're planning on traveling to Israel, you should get it now. Links to all of the apps I have mentioned can be found here below. See you next week. Yalla bye.